This is Plant-Based Briefing. Sprouts, the ultimate homegrown nutrient-packed food, Part 2 by Ocean Robbins at foodrevolution.org. I'm Marian Erickson. This is the curated content plant-based podcast where I narrate articles on healthy, compassionate, and sustainable living with permission in about 10 minutes or less every weekday. And today's article was going to be longer than that, so I broke it into two parts. I read part 1 yesterday, so go back and listen to that first, and then come back here for the second half. And now let's get to today's plant-based briefing. Sprouts, the ultimate homegrown nutrient-packed food, Part 2 by Ocean Robbins at foodrevolution.org. Sprout safety. Many people stopped buying sprouts because they were concerned that dangerous foodborne pathogens could grow on commercial sprouts during their growth cycle, in transit, or once they're on shelves. As a result, many grocery stores stopped selling them in their produce sections. Over the last 2 decades, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, linked multiple outbreaks of foodborne illness to the sale of raw or lightly cooked sprouts. Commercially grown alfalfa, mung bean, and clover sprouts in particular come with some risk of E. coli or salmonella contamination. To make commercial sprouting safer, the FDA's Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition released guidelines implementing measures such as improved seed management, seed testing and certification, and sanitary practices during the sprouting process. By law, many commercial sprouts and their seeds are now grown with disinfectants like chlorinated water to reduce the risk of contamination. As you may expect, some of this chlorine persists in the sprouts we eat. Furthermore, some studies have found that chlorine treatment is not always completely effective in sanitizing sprouts. Because of the potential risk associated with eating sprouts, children, pregnant women, the elderly, and people with generally weaker immune systems are often encouraged to thoroughly cook sprouts, especially if they come from a store. The good news is that you can have more control if you grow them at home. It doesn't completely eliminate risk, but good practices can help a lot. More on home growing is coming right up. If you're interested in learning more about sprout safety, Dr. Jed Fahey, the grandfather of broccoli sprouts, and Doug Evans, the author of the Sprout book, collaborated and published a thoughtful paper on the topic, Sprout Microbial Safety, a Reappraisal After a Quarter Century, linked here. They conclude that sprouts are highly nutritious and safe when proper sanitation and seed testing practices are followed. How to grow sprouts. You can grow sprouts at home, a practice that only requires a few minutes daily. We recommend purchasing seeds sold for sprouting that are certified organic, tested for pathogens, and tested for a high germination rate. If you choose to grow your sprouts, it's still important to be careful about sprout contamination and food safety. Make sure to wash your hands and sterilize your sprouting materials between batches. A dishwasher can do the trick. If you want to go the extra mile, consider treating the seeds in a solution of 3% hydrogen peroxide preheated to 140 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes, white vinegar at 3% acid, 3 parts vinegar and 2 parts water, or sodium hypochlorite scent-free bleach, 1 part bleach, 9 parts water. Soak for 15 minutes, then rinse and drain thoroughly before soaking. You can grow your sprouts by purchasing a sprouting kit from the Sprouting Company or following the steps outlined below. Materials for sprouting. Mason jar with lid, water, sprouting screen or cheesecloth that you'll cut with scissors and a rubber band, and seeds or lentils suitable for sprouting. Directions for growing your own sprouts. 1. Add your seeds, 3 tablespoons for a 1-quart mason jar or 4 tablespoons for a half-gallon jar, to your jar, cover with 2 cups of water, and put on the sprouting screen or cheesecloth. Let it sit overnight or for at least 8 hours at room temperature. 2. The next day, drain the water from your seeds. Rinse them with fresh water, swirl them around, and then drain the water from them again. Pro tip, rest the mason jar upside down diagonally on a drying rack to keep water from pooling at the bottom of the jar. 3. Repeat the rinsing and swirling process twice daily until the sprouts grow to the size you like. This usually takes 2 to 7 days. When your sprouts form, rinse them one last time, let them dry, and transfer them to a produce bag or airtight container. Store in the fridge and use within 3 to 5 days. Editor's note: Food Revolution Summit speaker and best-selling The Sprout book author Doug Evans has created a helpful course, Let's Sprout, that tells you all about sprouts, including why they're so good for you and how to grow a wide variety of them easily, enjoyably, safely, and with minimal equipment. You'll also get step-by-step, highly nutritious recipes, from simple salads and wraps to sprout popcorn, smoothies, and even sprouted ice cream. Yep, for real. Find out more and check it out for free, linked here. How to store sprouts. Proper storage is essential to maintaining the freshness and quality of your sprouts for as long as possible. Sprouts will typically stay fresh in the fridge for around 3 days, but the sooner you eat them, the better. To extend shelf life, you can wash your sprouts daily in cold water. Just be sure to let them dry out after every rinse before placing them back in the fridge. How to include sprouts in your diet. Sprouts and microgreens are easy to incorporate into your diet in a number of ways. Some of the best ways to enjoy sprouts include sprinkled onto oatmeal or atop a bowl of granola, mixed into other greens as part of a salad, stirred in with other veggies and stir-fries, added to smoothies, especially green smoothies, added to dips like hummus or bean dip, or creating a dip entirely from sprouts, used as a garnish for cooked dishes like soups, chili, and pizza, layered into sandwiches, tacos, burritos, and plant-based hot dogs, eaten raw, snacked on by the handful, or boiled to create a hearty base for soups and casseroles. Healthy and delicious sprout recipes. Sprouts are incredibly versatile and can be used in a variety of dishes. They can be added to salads, sandwiches, smoothies, and soups. One of my favorite recipes is a sprout salad with different sprouts, avocado, cherry tomatoes, cucumber, and a light lemon tahini dressing. Another great way to use sprouts is in wraps or as a topping for grain bowls where they add a fresh, crunchy texture. Sprouts can also be blended into green smoothies for an added nutritional boost. I even love sprouts as a very healthy alternative to rice and pasta. Check out 3 great sprout recipes linked below. Number 1, raw tomato basil sauce with sprouts. It's bursting with flavor and nutrition thanks to a mix of nutrient-rich sprouts that add a fresh, crunchy twist. Paired with tomatoes, basil, and garlic, it's a tasty and wholesome option for salads, wraps, or pasta. 2, super green sprout smoothie. It's a super refreshing, nutrient-packed way to start your day. Loaded with mung bean and green pea sprouts, it's full of vitamins, minerals, and enzymes that help with digestion and overall health. Plus, it tastes great. And number 3, mushroom lentil pate. It's rich, savory, and packed with nutrients. Blending porcini mushrooms, sprouted lentils, mung beans, and walnuts into a flavorful spread. Enhanced by sun-dried tomatoes and a mix of aromatic spices, it's the perfect healthy snack or appetizer that showcases sprouts in an exciting new way. Conclusion: should you eat sprouts? Homegrown sprouts are a healthy, nutrient-packed, and delicious food that you can enjoy in countless ways. They can serve as a fresh, raw food source when other sources are inaccessible. However, they can also be a source of bacterial pathogens, so it's important to employ proper washing and storage methods. There are alternatives to traditional fresh bean sprouts, such as microgreens or canned sprouts, which you can use similarly with less or no risk of bacterial contamination. However you wish to enjoy them, do so in good health. You just listened to Sprouts, the Ultimate Homegrown Nutrient-Packed Food, Part 2 by Ocean Robbins at foodrevolution.org. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson. And I was glad to find this article because I just last week dug out my sprouting kit again to start sprouting. My daughter had asked me to get some sprouts at the store, and I remembered hearing about the salmonella and E. coli and whatnot, so I thought, we might as well just make our own again. So I also just downloaded access to that free course in the link too, so I think I want to go over that just to remind myself. And I'll put a link to that separately in the show notes too, so you don't have to dig into the original post and find it. And if you want to check out a previous episode about sprouting, check out 537, From Seed to Sprout, A Beginner's Guide to Sprouting. And in that one, I had linked to a Rich Roll podcast episode with Doug Evans, who wrote the Sprout book. So please share this episode with anyone who might benefit, and thanks for listening.